Hello everyone, welcome to Beyond 100 Days with Nifemi Oguntoye. On this day, 1st of March 2023, President Bola Tinubu received certificate of return as President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria after defeating his rivals Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party, Peter Obi of the Labour Party. And with that electoral victory came the mandate to serve for 4 years. Exactly 9 months into his administration, and we've seen quite a number of government policies from the Tinubu administration. There are a lot happening right now, talking about the economic challenges in the country and various interventions put in place to cushion the effect on Nigerians by this administration. The president, recall yesterday, called for patience while reacting to the 4 industrial disruptions by organized labor in the 9 months of his administration.
Allow me to throw a jab here. The labor union should understand that no matter how much we cling to our freedom and rights, to call for strike within 9 months of an administration is unacceptable. If you want to participate in the electoral process, wait on the 2027.
Well, Mr. President says there's no going back with his administration's policies and that he has faith that things are going to get better, asking Nigerians to stay the course and give him some more time. Immediately after that event in Lagos, President Tinubu left for Doha in Qatar on a state visit to strengthen cooperation between the two nations in areas including security, cultural exchange, and economic development. During the visit, we understand that President Tinubu will witness the signing of agreements focused on boosting Nigeria's real estate sector and creating investments across the various fields. The president will also participate in a business and investment forum, which will bring together top-level executives in Nigeria and Qatar to advance cross-sectoral opportunities for mutually beneficial growth and development. You can join the conversation right now as we focus on Mr. President's visit to Qatar and the development stories from there. Remember to use hashtag Beyond 100 Days and tag at TVC News NG as well as at Nifemi Oguntoye. I'm joined now by the President, Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture. Mr. Adeloye joins us live from Doha. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much.
Great to have you. Let's begin with some clarification on what we all now know as a leaked memo that was showing that the Arab nation declined a proposed an investment forum proposed by NACCIMA. The memo stated that there is no agreement between Nigeria and Qatar on investment promotion and protection. What really happened?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you sincerely for this opportunity. Well, like in every bilateral relations, there are always several agreements to be resolved. Normally, every visit by a head of state is merely to advance economic interests of their own countries. And naturally, got in touch with the state and we agreed. And an interministerial committee was set up to plan the visit. And most importantly, to involve the business and the private sector. NACCIMA was asked to make that arrangement in collaboration with the Interministerial Committee, principally combined with the Ministry of External Affairs and the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. We initially started very well, but the Qataris, like you know, it's a small country. All communications, you have to route it through their foreign ministry. So what it meant is that even our initial communications with the Qataris was through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. But along the line, there were several other agreements, about 18 or more, that were to be signed. We didn't have any problem as a chamber-to-chamber basis for any basis for disagreement. I suspect, but I don't know exactly what happened. I think in the several bilateral discussions, there have been some breakdown, and they kind of say, why are you emphasizing the investment forum when you have not even concluded the other agreements? But like I said, that is one reason why NACCIMA had to rush down. Since on Monday, we sat with our friends here, and we resolved everything. In fact, within 2 hours, there was an agreement which we are ready to sign
All right.
for at the investment forum. So there's no problem. And I think like every relationship, when there's communication breakdown, there's bound to be some, I mean, I don't know who leaked the memo, but it was a
So,
bilateral.
are you saying
secret
categorically
communication
that
between
the NACCIMA Qatar Chamber of Commerce Business Summit will still hold as slated?
apart from the fact that that memo was not only rescinded, but was withdrawn on the 23rd of this month. We've also had meetings, and there was another note paper that was issued, which I also saw. I don't know how he also managed to get leaked to the press, that they've withdrawn their initial position and they are ready to go ahead with the business forum. But nevertheless, we came down on Monday, we met with our colleagues on Wednesday, and within 2 hours, not only were we agreed to hold a meeting, we reached an agreement on two principal documents. That is the MOU, that's Memorandum of Understanding between NACCIMA and Qatar Chamber of Commerce. And secondly, we also agreed to form a business council. If you check the website of the Qatar Chamber today, my photograph with the first deputy president, because the president was away in Paris when we had that meeting, is this thing that is done in their website and Instagram page. And even the local news, the Qatari news, there's even a request now for Qatar to say we should come and invest in their country. So it's not just a one-way traffic. The Qataris also need Nigeria. They need our market. They need our investment too. And they are aware of several investments we've done around there within the region. And they're also looking at the opportunity of seeing Nigerians coming to invest in Qatar. So I can tell you, not only are we back to normal, they're also very enthusiastic the way they have received our president and all the government officials. There have been several bilateral meetings, and I can tell you as at the last meeting, every agreement has virtually been accepted outside the NACCIMA Qatar Chamber of Commerce. And we are ready. And in fact, they've sent their own list of members who are participating. They are participating heavily.
So talking about their level of participation, you know, the position of the embassy in that leaked memo was that the country's Minister of Commerce and Industry wouldn't be around, that is carrying out official missions outside the country, and that the state of Qatar will be hosting a web summit at the time. Is the minister now going to attend?
Yes, by the program, the updated program, which was released to the Federal Ministry of External Affairs yesterday, our own Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I can tell you that in fact, the Qataris are virtually dominating the event now. And both their minister with our president in attendance, who is speaking, both the first and second deputy president, both the president and the first deputy president of Qatar, they are all playing roles. There are about 4 officials of Qatar, both at the government level and the private sector level, who are speaking at that event. And where NACCIMA will also be speaking. And we also have all our ministers, while Mr. President also speaking at the event. So they are not only participating, they are fully involved in the planning, coordination, and most importantly, even the choice of venue and what will happen there. They are fully participating.
So I'll tell you one more thing that is quite a concern for some people back at home. I recall that in September of 2022, the Middle East country rejected the planned visit of former President Buhari over the country's preparation for the 2022 World Cup. And at the time, they did ask that the federal government should propose a new date for the visit. This coincidence, does it bother you at all?
Well, when we were far away in Nigeria, I thought there was an issue. But I can tell you, not only have we been well received, I appreciate when you say coincidence, but they are not, naturally they have a web summit, and they also have the business in Algiers, and they were also in Paris, and for another meeting. But God's grace and also the efforts we've also put in, both at the government and the personal level of the chamber, we've been able to resolve all the outstanding issues. In fact, Like I've informed you, they are willing and ready, and they are all with us here at the Grand Hilton Doha, where I'm speaking to you from, and they are working closely with us. It's just a mere coincidence, but I can also tell you we have not only just been received at the office. I was personally invited. On that day I visited the chamber, there were several delegations. Our Nigerian delegation was the only delegation that was invited home for dinner. If you understand the Qataris very well, if they invite you home for dinner, it's a second sign that they want to do business. Not only at the level of discussion we are having, we also visited their free trade zone yesterday. So they are ready and they are willing and they have a lot of knowledge about Nigeria and Africa. They're already in some other African countries. And they've been looking at Nigeria seriously for a long time. And they're very happy for the first time they are meeting credible businessmen from Nigeria. And they have already revealed their intention to send a delegation shortly after we leave. So they've even gone as far as to also as some of their investment arms. And they're all very anxious. They actually told us when we were marketing Nigeria or South Africa, I said, no, your 200 million population is enough. That we will finish with that before we go to West Africa. So they are ready. And I can tell every Nigerian, we shouldn't look at ourselves or in self-pity. People know our potentials. They know the opportunities. They know what they want to do in Nigeria. I think we have a lot to sell to the world. And that's why we must not lose hope or be worried about our future. Because the man coming with his money know that there's something. He's not coming there to throw away his money. He see the potentials in us. That's why I advise all of us to just work together and find a way. We have challenges, and there's no doubt. There's no way there's no challenge. There's the way we go about it that is important, especially when our president is outside the country. We all have a duty to support him so that it makes it easier for him to negotiate for us and also close deals for us. So he's going to personally attend the investment forum to show at the highest level of authority that he's a support of business in Nigeria.
So you have asked prospective participants to pre-register with NACCIMA as per the event protocols. How well has that gone?
Yeah, well, we got, even coming in from Nigeria, I think we were able to have over 230, both the business and the delegation and the official delegation, that visas were granted. There are also several Nigerian businesses who have other countries' passports that they'll be flying in without it. From what we have, we're already looking at an event of about 300 from both sides. I think the Qatari are doing almost about 100 or more. But like I said, they are attending at the highest level, which is what is important to us. We were well received, and so far, the engagement have been consistent. A lot of our members have been having private meetings. I have been coordinating all the people coming in from Nigeria, and also the people that are involved in various meetings. That there are several requests on both sides to meet different parties in delegation. We've already sent our list across, which they are looking at, and they have matchmaked most of them. So I can assure you, it will be a major change, a game-changing plan for us. They're very happy to meet the businessmen of Nigeria. And I think we'll take it from here, definitely.
So the presidency has been talking about strengthening cooperation between the two nations in several areas, including security, cultural exchange, and economic development. But precisely what is this NACCIMA side event seeking to achieve when the business community here meets with them? What are the goals that you have set to achieve in the light of this event?
Well, there are certain focus areas for the event, but the most part is for us to realize the position of Qatar in the world. Qatar is one of the most wealthiest countries in the world. Apart from that, they are two extremely smart people. If you look at, they have more investment outside their country than in their country. What that tells you, they are savvy businessmen. And if you combine this with our own potentials and having one of the smartest people from their part of the world, they already know that even when they are coming, they don't need to bring their expatriates. We have our people operating almost at the same level with them. And they have one of the highest GDP in the world. And they are looking for where to push their capital to make more money. They want to make more money. And they've done very well with their gas assets. And we are doing oil and gas. We are also interested in IT. We're also interested to know that all their SIM card, everything is not even printed in Qatar. We told them Nigeria, we have a Nigerian company that is in 21 countries, Secure ID Limited, who is into SIM card and the printing of bankers. They are very interested. They want to know. They want to learn from Nigeria. There are several areas where we are also leading, and they are ready to learn. But most importantly, they also have huge experience in Africa. Also, I don't want to mention the African countries they are in, but Nigeria has always been their destination, just that they didn't find the right partners. And that is what NACCIMA is providing, to give them a platform where they can verify, propose investors, and also make sure they don't fall into wrong hands. That is, first of all, our primary duty as the only Apex Chamber of Commerce in Nigeria that can give them that assurance that we have given. That is why the framework agreement we are signing will provide the platform. We're also going to have a joint business council. So there are two levels. Apart from the chamber, the members of that joint business council will be made up of reputable Nigerians who have interests also within the region and be ready to do business. So this is why we are here. And it's our job to make sure we give, they can only listen to government. They're also talking to us, we won't deceive them because we have to want to also do business so that the platform is already built on trust. And that was why the chamber went ahead of government to come here to try to resolve whatever issues both countries may have. And naturally, when we came, they were actually looking for opportunity to discuss. And that platform, that was why immediately we got here. We issued a press statement that not only hasn't been resolved, we sent out the pictures of the meeting, and they too also issued several newspaper releases, one of which is now saying, begging us to come to do business within their country. I can tell you, a lot of people have investment within the region. They are looking at us to also see whether they can get a slice of that. I think the focus on NACCIMA first.
Yes, it sounds very good, Mr. Oye, but there are concerns back at home, and it has to do with whether there are measurable metrics to determine the exact impact this is having within a particular timeline. Some say, for instance, that President Tinubu may have held the record of the most traveled president in his first 100 days in office. His first trip abroad was to France to participate in the summit for a new global financing pact. And then he's been to Guinea-Bissau for ECOWAS summit, then the AU meeting in Kenya and the G20 summit in India. On his way back from India, he made a stopover at the UAE, where he held bilateral talks with his Emirati counterpart. And there are talks about how that would revive the almost dead diplomatic relations between the two countries. But as NACCIMA, how much commerce, how much trade relations have we been able to garner from these trips thus far? Or is it a long-term process that we can't measure yet?
Well, I'm happy to tell you that I was part of the G20 summit in India, and that was where we secured a commitment for 14 to 15 billion US dollar investment. I can tell you, shortly after that, the Nigeria-India Business Forum was established, which we had a very huge meeting at the Transcorp Hilton. From that meeting, NACCIMA signed agreement with the Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce, which is the best body, which will have to also provide structure for that foreign direct investment. I can tell you today that the CNG program of the government, I have my member here with me in Qatar, who from that meeting alone was able to get the experts, and he has started training our youth on how to convert their vehicle into CNG in Nigeria. So there are a lot of bet out of that meeting. I'm also aware of a $3 billion investment, which people are ready. They've already incorporated the company in Nigeria, and we are helping them to look for, they've asked for certain areas on what they want to do in the steel industry. We are working closely with them from the private sector and the government to make sure that immediately is realized. They also have other commitment from Indorama and several other companies that make commitment. They're all working with us. They're all talking to us and government. Before, what has happened is when they come, they don't see their partners like the private sector. The discussion of the government is almost at official level. And the businessman from any country is not interested in the minister or anything. He just wants to start work. And that is what we are providing the federal government to ensure. And that's why when you mention that the president has been traveling and there's no result, it's unfair to the president, I would say, because there's no trip the president has made, or no official trip he has made, that he has not involved the private sector. If you check, both at the trip to Saudi Arabia, one is always something that is constant in all his trips. there's a business forum. And I think we should commend the president for
I
that.
hear you clearly. By the way, I did not say that the president has been traveling without results. I said you are the professional. You should let us know how much impact that has had on commerce and trade relations. It was a simple question, so I don't want you to misquote me on that.
Sorry, I didn't misquote you. What I want to say is, sorry, I think maybe is to say that there is huge impact, talking from the private sector. When you promote understanding between two countries' businessmen, you cannot imagine what other impact it creates when we are negotiating at the private level. Because once the government shakes and they sign the pre-investment agreement protocols, it made it easier for us to talk and negotiate and also resolve disputes. That is why he's going there. It's critical to open the door and make sure the necessary investment protocols are in place.
I hear you clearly. We have a few minutes to go now. Yes.
Okay.
We have a few minutes to go, but I just want I want to hear your view on this. It sounds like you're saying that we have done well in the past 9 months to elevate Nigerian businesses to a platform of global recognition and success. But I want you to talk to us about what you think the challenges have been vis-a-vis the current economic situation back at home. You know, if you recall the position of labor recently and the concerns of a majority of the Nigerian people talking about where the shoe pinches them, you know, as relates to the economic realities.
Well, I want to say, first of all, that there's nobody without a problem. NACCIMA too also have his own reservation on some of the policies, because we recently went out for the first time. Normally, we've been giving advice confidentially, but the issue of the Naira, we've had to show to the public our position on the letter we wrote to the central bank governor after meeting the Minister of Finance and also the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment. We are not happy naturally with the way our currency went. And you can see from those meetings, the government has started taking position. Because what happened before was to let the Naira fall or maybe just allow market to determine. And we disagree with the government on that. We tell them exactly what we wanted. It's very also the customs duty that we're just changing every minute. All that is being resolved. And we also use part of this engagement to let the government know before they take any major decision, we should have a stakeholders meeting so that they can have a feedback from businesses before they make policies that affect us. We are not there yet, I agree with you. That's why you can see all the challenges. But like I've said, this government is new. I'm not saying it's so new not to start correcting mistakes, but they've tried their own ideas. They've seen that some did not work. And we are working with them to make sure that they do things right. And I can assure you, going forward, you will see a greater impact of NACCIMA in some of the policies, because we are talking and they have not admitted privately that there are mistakes here and there, but they are working on it.
All right. So your event is 3rd of March. We're hoping that when you return, we're going to have an exclusive with you and perhaps have a conversation on how it all went in Qatar. Thank you so much for talking to us. President, Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, Deloye, live for us from Doha in Qatar.
Thank you.